Hey everybody, Ricky here with Dakota Stones. Today we're going to talk about my Tricky Ricky knot, which I created, I'd say about 15 years ago. I was working in a bead store here in Minneapolis, and we would have a lot of stretch bracelets come in broken and needed to be repaired, or commissioned bracelets. And I also made a ton for myself to sell. So I wanted to create a knot that would have these last a lot longer, so we didn't have to repair them all the time and have them come back with them broken. I also don't like using glue, so I also wanted to create a knot that didn't have to use any super glue or E6000. The 4 essentials I need for making these bracelets are Beadsmith Big Eye needles, Stretch Magic 0.7, that's what I like, that's what I prefer, especially with 8 to 10 millimeter beads, works great. I like to use a metal bead for hiding the knot, and then side cutters to cut the Stretch Magic and the Big Eye needle. Now that you've got your beads picked out and you have your 0.7 Stretch Magic ready to go, first thing that I like to do is take these Big Eye needles, and who generally, you're going to open up like this. And what I'm going to do is take your cutters that you have, lop the top off here. And it's going to be stuck in somebody's foot. Yeah, you lop the top off here, and what you're doing is you're creating kind of this V right here. Now this can be done with wire or a strong thread if you don't have a Big Eye needle handy. But wire works just fine. Generally, Dakota Stones beads are going to have a 0.8 to 1 millimeter hole size, so it can fit a hefty wire. I don't know what the gauge is, but it can fit a hefty wire going through there. So once you got your V cut in the needle, you go to your Stretch Magic here. Take a healthy amount of that off the spool. Generally, I look for about an 8-inch bracelet for me, so I kind of do about 16 to 20 inches on that. This might be a little too short. And what the key thing with Stretch Magic and any elastic is you want to pre-stretch it. When you pre-stretch the elastic, it's actually making it stronger and making it last longer. Plus, when you're stringing up your beads, your knots won't slide out. So make sure it's pre-stretched. You can feel the give in it when you get to the end of the stretch. Once you feel comfortable with that being as far as it can go, you're gonna wanna double up the strands so you have a loop on one end and the ends on the other. So you're gonna take this needle with a V, slide it into the loop here. So essentially you're going to have a threaded needle at the end and 2 tails loose here. I like to also use bead stoppers here and there to keep the beads going on. This will be a little short for me, but it'll work. And now once you have this all completed, you should be able to string the beads on just fine, keeping the loop on one end. All right, now that we have them all strung up, we're ready to take off our needle. Oh, but before we do that, we want to add, well, at least I like to add, you don't have to do this, but I like to add an accent bead of some sort of metal that you can use in the end to hide the knot. So put that on the end. You can do it at the beginning or you can do it at the end, either way, works. All right, so now I got all the beads on here I'm going to use. Got the 2 tails here and the Big Eye down here in the loop. I can just pop that right off, and if I need to add or take off any more beads, I can do that now too, if the bracelet is going to be too big or too small. I like mine a little loose, so I'm good. And now, the piece de la resistance is you're going to have your loop on this end, you're going to have your 2 open tails here. You're going to take those, go through the loop. Okay, once you're through the loop, you should be able to tighten down, pull the slack out of the rest of the bracelet. So right now, you've got your 2 loops going through there. Once that's done, you take your 2 ends, all right, and you're going to crisscross them under the bracelet, through the bracelet, right? Come back up to the top. So underneath now you have them crisscrossed. On the top of the bracelet, or on the top of your loops, you're going to tie a square knot. Left over right, right over left. Okay, now essentially you can pull these down tight and you'll get resistance when it hits your main knot. The key to this, the key to making it's going to stay, as you can see it's kind of loose right there, is pulling from the inside, and it pulls the underneath knot to the top and tightens and cinches the knot from both sides. So you keep on pulling to check out the strength. Sometimes it does get loose, and it's going to be trial and error. The first couple you make, I guarantee, are going to come loose at this point and be left with retying. That's fine. Like I said, it takes a while to get it for the first time. Right now, we're good. It's tight, not going anywhere. I feel safe to cut the top of it. Now what I like to do before I cut is pull the knot in so it'll be stuck in the bead. That's why I use these metal beads. Cut the remaining off. And you're good to go. No knots anywhere. It's a little loose. I know that. I made it a little loose. You don't have any knots. To show you a closer look, I have some enlarged beads here and some wax cotton that I can use to kind of get you a better idea of what's going on versus the small 0.7 clear elastic. So here you have your loop at the end of your beads. Here you have your two loose tails from what I was just showing you. So you're going to go in through your loop with your two ends, pull them tight to here, and you're going to cross them underneath the loop here in the inside of the bracelet. So that one goes underneath, and that one goes underneath there. I'm going to pull those tight. All right. I know this isn't tight. I'm just showing you this for the enlargement. All right, and then you're going to tie a square knot over the top. So two overhand knots opposite. Right over left. Left over right. Cinch it down. Pull from the inside. Not going anywhere. Tricky Ricky knot. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to dakotastones.com for any questions you might have. All these are available on dakotastones.com, as well as a plethora of different size beads you can use for making stretch bracelets. Thank you for watching.